What's going on, guys? It's Q.J.C. back with another movie review. Today we are doing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Also, let me know if you like this setup over the one where I just put the camera on my monitor and it's facing, towards my bed. But I'm finally getting around to this. I actually saw Guardians 3 like 3 weeks ago. I don't know what took me so long to make a movie review, but I'm not gonna waste too much time. There will be some spoilers, but I'm gonna make this as quick as possible. Overall, as a whole, I really loved it. I think it's the best Marvel movie since Endgame. Yes, I agree with that, and since No Way Home. Man, it's just that now Marvel lately, to me, hasn't been the best. It hasn't produced some of the best content lately, especially in Phase 4. And you know how I feel about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. But this was a movie I was excited for, only because this was James Gunn's last project, and it was going to be the last interpretation of this team of the Guardians. So I expected it to be very emotional. I didn't expect it to be this emotional, though. One of my favorite movies of the year, yeah. I would honestly watch it again, because as of now, I've only seen it one time in the theater, but I will totally watch it again. So, basically, this movie is about the team trying to save Rocket after he was, shot by Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock, probably the only underwhelming thing about the movie was the character of Adam Warlock, because he was built up since Guardians 2, which was like 2017, and we're finally getting him. And I just felt like he was underwhelming. But that's just me. Will Poulter did a really good job playing Adam, I'll say that. Now, when it comes to the team itself, I think Nebula had some of the most development, and Rocket obviously had some of the most development, because this was basically Rocket's movie. And hey, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't ugly cry, but I did shed a couple of tears when I saw the scene where the High Evolutionary killed Lila. Oh my god. And then Rocket just tore his face off. I was like, Jesus, man, this was probably the most they pushed a PG-13 rating here. I'll say that. They show a lot of stuff here that wouldn't normally be shown in an MCU movie. Really, in general. But, obviously, they dropped the first F-bomb. Star-Lord drops the first F-bomb. And it was funny. I chuckled. Rocket has always been my favorite member of the Guardians. So, when I saw him getting a lot of screen time, especially in the trailers, I was like, oh no, they're going to kill off Rocket Raccoon, aren't they? Because there's been a trend going on, especially with the logos. I noticed with the logos for the first Guardians, it was like Groot, who died in that movie. Groot Senior died. And then Guardians 2 was all blue and red, which was Yondu, and who died in that movie? Yondu. So, in this movie, the logo was like a little brownish, and I was like, oh no, is it Rocket's turn? It was like either Rocket or Drax were going to die. None of them die, though. There were a couple of fake outs, though, like Star-Lord in space. Basically, they were rescuing the kids and the animals from the High Evolutionary ship, and then Star-Lord was the last one to go, and then he didn't make it. And so his face get all distorted in space, because you can't breathe in space. And then, Adam Warlock went to save him and stuff like that. But the High Evolutionary as a villain, he worked for me. Now, I heard the whole Jonathan Majors thing, I probably won't get into. To me, it's like, you should be innocent till proven guilty. We saw this with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. So, all these allegations, I don't know if they're true or not. I can't really say anything until he's, found innocent or guilty. But that's besides the point. If they wanted to get the High Evolutionary as a But I think he's done though. He's probably done. But if they wanted to get him to be a big bad of the MCU, I think that could work pretty well. He does make the actor playing the High Evolutionary. I can never get his name, but he was in Peacemaker. He does such a good job at making you hate this character. You just want to see his demise like immediately. And then when it does happen, he doesn't. They rip his at the end. They like found out that the whole skin was just a mask. So when they rip it off, it looked pretty. Man, it was pretty brutal. That was like towards the climax of the movie. It was a pretty brutal fight. And then let me think. Cosmo was pretty good. She was barely in the movie though. She was more like hanging out with Kraglin the whole time at the beginning and then at the end. And then Kraglin was a good side character. He's a part of the New Guardians, and then we'll see how that goes. But you know, Groot Jr. actually has a really cool scene with Star-Lord where they go to the High Evolution. So basically, they're on the planet where the High Evolutionary is, and then Groot and Star-Lord go to the High Evolutionary while Nebula, Drax, and Mantis basically follow him. And then, you know, past Gamora is looking at the looking after Rocket in the ship. Speaking of past Gamora, man, it's like it's interesting with her. Like you don't know much about her, but you're like intrigued for some reason. It's like, and then again, Zoe Saldana does a great job playing the character of Gamora, but you know, this isn't our Gamora. She's a different Gamora who hasn't met the Guardians and hasn't, you know, doesn't fall in love with Peter. They don't get back together. They just go their separate ways. Everybody goes their separate ways at the end of the movie, except for, you know, Groot and Rocket, who always stick together. Speaking of Groot, at the end, he said he did it again. He did it again. You remember the Guardians 1? He said, "We are Groot." Not saying I am Groot. He said, "I love you guys." And I thought No Way Home when Andrew Garfield said that, I was like, oh snap, that was a good. I don't know if that was intentional, but I found that to be a good moment. And I thought Mantis and Drax had good character development. Drax being the overly comedic, like, I know Dave Bautista didn't like that version of the character. Believe me, I wasn't that big on it either. And then I just got used to it over time. So Drax was okay in my opinion. He was cool. Him and Mantis have good chemistry. But Drax at the end of the movie does end up helping Nebula take care of the kids they rescued on it's on Nowhere. I think it's on Nowhere. And then you know, Rocket, Star-Lord goes back to Earth in a post-credit scene where he sees his grandfather, who still recognized him after all these years. So that was just another emotional moment. And then, you know, another post-credit scene is where Rocket and King Groot leads the new members of the Guardians. But did I cover everything? Yeah, and the whole animal thing is I was able to sit through it weirdly, despite there being like, man, the High Evolutionary was a menace to society. That man was a menace to society, but he was a really good villain. Nah, he's probably better than Kang. At least so far, he's better than Kang, because Kang and Quantumania didn't really work for me. Then again, you know, that's me. But overall, I did give the movie a 10 out of 10 when I got out of the theater. I've had 3 weeks to think about it. I'm still going to keep it at a 10 out of 10. And it will probably more than likely be my best movies of the year. But that can change because we're almost halfway through the year already. So we'll see where it goes. So let me know what you thought of Guardians 3. Let me know what you think. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.